podcast contains discussions of real criminal cases, including descriptions of violence, abuse, and other disturbing events. Some listeners may find this content too graphic or emotionally triggering. Listener discretion is strongly advised. This episode is not suitable for children or sensitive audiences. If you feel distrust at any point while listening, please consider pausing the episode and seeking professional support. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Crime KE podcast. My good name is Ajuma and I'm a human rights journalist from Kenya. This week we get into the murder of Lawrence Nkamasiai. Now, Lawrence was a private land surveyor in Narok County and he died in January 2024 after he was attacked outside his home. This is a story of a very mysterious murder whose motive is still unknown up until today. In the evening of Wednesday, January 10th of 2024, 29-year-old Lawrence Nkamasiai left his home in the K24 area of Narok town, not knowing that this would be the last time his very young family would see him alive. According to his wife Sylvia, Lawrence left home that evening to go and buy some medication for their only child. Now, at around 8 p.m., she said that she was alerted by the child to knocking at the gate. Essentially, the child was telling her that Lawrence had returned home from the errand he had gone to run. Sylvia told Citizen TV that the child told her that there was banging on the gate and it was probably Lawrence. So she said that she headed for the gate, and when she got closer, she heard something just outside the gate. Immediately, she became worried because she had some commotion. She tried to call Lawrence on his phone, but there was no response. She said that she did not open the gate at this point because she did not know what was going on outside. So what she did was that she went back inside the house and climbed to the rooftop of the house so that she could have a better view of outside the gate on what was happening. Now, she says that while she was up there, a man who was passing by outside the house shined like a torch on her and told her that someone had been murdered outside their gate. So she got down and rushed to the scene, and it was when she got there that she realized that her husband, Lawrence, had been attacked as she was getting into the house. Sylvia said that she had Lawrence breathe his last when she got to their gate. She said that he had been hit at the back of his head by what seemed to be either a panga or an axe. Lawrence's murder drew a lot of attention and outrage, mainly because it happened at a time when there was a lot of insecurity already in Narok County. And a day after he was attacked, that Thursday, the people of Narok went to the streets to protest the insecurity in the area. Now, there had been multiple attacks in the area, and this murder was kind of the last straw that broke the camel's back. The protesters told the media that Lawrence's murder was a result of the failure by the police and the county government to address the insecurity in the county. Now, it took the Narok governor to calm the tensions between the residents and the police after he promised that Lawrence's killers would face justice and the county government would address the insecurity in the area. Now, after a brief investigation, police in Narok arrested 3 suspects just less than a week after Lawrence's murder. The suspects were believed to have been involved with Lawrence's murder. Now, in one interview with Citizen TV, the Narok police commander said that the 3 were helping investigators track down fellow suspects. The 3 were arraigned at Narok law courts where they denied the charges against them, and that trial is still ongoing. Now, according to the police's theory, the suspects attacked Lawrence as he was opening the gate to his home that night, and they ended up killing him. The police believe that he had been murdered over a land deal that had gone sour, and they believe that that was the motive of the murder. And the police commander, even in the interview, says that land issues in Narok are very emotive and very dangerous and deadly in some cases. And he said that Lawrence may have gotten in the mix, considering that he was working as a private land surveyor. Now, the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya had to release a statement in solidarity with the Narok people, calling for justice for Lawrence's murder. Now, especially because the police were insinuating that his job led to his death, and that organization is for surveyors, and they need to make sure that all surveyors are safe while at the job. Lawrence was laid to rest on Saturday, January 13th of 2024 at his home in Naikara in Narok West constituency. His friends who studied with him through high school described him as a very friendly person who was very easy to interact with. They say that he had been a bright student even in school, and even when they were in school, he was very jovial and loved to talk to people. They also say that he deserved justice because his murderers snatched him away from his family in a very, very brutal manner. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this very short episode. You can support Crime KE podcast by sharing this episode with your friends so that we can get a larger community to listen to these cases. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at crime.ke, crime with a K. You can find me on Facebook at Ajuma Millicent for updates on the cases covered on this podcast. I have tagged the podcast contact information and social media pages in the show notes of this episode so that it is easier for you to reach out if you have any feedback on this episode or the podcast in general. Don't forget to give the podcast a 5-star rating on Spotify and catch the next episode of Crime KE podcast on Thursday next week on the same platform you're listening from right now. But until then, stay safe and remember, it is crime with a K.